All right, $1 billion to get Russia off Europe's back, or at least to make Russia think it's stronger than it is. Europe really isn't too keen on this idea, and they're the ones that would supposedly be the beneficiaries. The Cato economist Dan Mitchell, along with our Fox Biz stars, Jesse J. Duff and Scott Martin and Kate Rogers. What is this all about, Dan? What is he trying to do here?
I think it's just empty symbolism. It's a gesture, and that's about it. And because it's so ineffective, I actually think it makes us look weak. I mean, you can have a debate whether or not the U.S. should be involved, putting blood and/or treasure at risk for a border dispute between Russia and Ukraine. But if you're going to make the decision that the U.S. somehow has a national security interest, this is nothing but almost like a campaign commercial, the equivalent thereof.
I also wonder, too, Dan, that the timing of this is weird because after he is, you know, the red line in the sand and then trying to call out Putin, and none of this has worked, to say after the fact, and after the embarrassments, oh, yeah, you do that again, I'm going to do this.
His foreign policy record has not exactly been a bright spot. No matter whether you're a non-interventionist or an interventionist, he just seems to be flailing around, seems to be passive. But again, why should therefore American taxpayers have to cough up $1 billion just so he can pretend that he's doing something?
Yeah, Jesse Jane Duff, Churchillian this is not, and that's not a left-right argument. It probably is more a financial argument. We don't have the money anyway.
Well, essentially, the president is trying to throw a Band-Aid on a sucking chest wound. Putin has already shown him that he's taking over. He's gone into Egypt. He's gone into Syria. We have failed on all accounts, even in the Ukraine. Meanwhile, our own army is going to be reduced at next year's budget levels to pre-1940 levels. And at the same time, we have had problems with the Polish and Czech Republic with our defense missile systems. We've shut down the fourth phase of instilling them. I mean, we're so all over the place with our foreign policy. I think he's just trying to look like he's suddenly got it together, but it's too little too late.
But he's also talking in the last couple of weeks, Scott, about the U.S. not being the sort of the global leader. We are partners in peace, or to play off the West Point theme, we are a whole new America.
Whole new, right.
What do you make of that?
Cooperative in it. And Neil, that's the funny thing is, he's right, though, because we're not playing any global peace partner by not attacking the problem. It's kind of like Dan said, you know, what you do, Neil, in this case, or like you alluded to, hey, we'll throw a couple $1 billion over there, Putin, Mr. Russia, and guess what? We'll fortify the surrounding areas, but not attack the problem. And if that keeps going on, maybe, hey, if you're a country, which, by the way, they're not super happy about this in Poland and so forth, if you're a country over there, maybe if there's some tension nearby, hey, maybe you're going to get a couple $1 billion from the U.S. government.
Okay.
Well, you have to wonder if this is what the American people want, too. Pew Research Center comes out with a poll that says since 1974, the highest amount of Americans, over 50%, think that our role as a global leader is starting to diminish and that we should mind our own business. So do we really want him handing $1 billion to go over there and fight?
Well, there is that. I mean, Dan, there is this notion that why should we be the world lead cowboy? If the Europeans aren't going to react to this crazy guy in their midst, why should we do it for them? What are you saying?
It's almost as if, by accident, Obama is trying to have a non-interventionist foreign policy. But if he wants to do that, he should make the case, look, it's not in America's national interest to get into a fight with Putin over whether or not the Russian-speaking parts of Ukraine are going to break away. If he actually made that kind of argument, and Steve Chapman talked about this in his recent column, I'd say, okay, hats off. He's making a bold statement. He's trying to come up with a coherent philosophy. But instead, I think he's just flailing around, and he's being guided by domestic politics and the desire to look like he's doing something. There's nothing coherent about the policy.
All right, guys, thank you all very much. I think it is worrisome, especially when we're spending money we don't have, but that's a side issue. All right, when we come back.